I finally lost 80 pounds in 12 months, and here are the 8 things that actually worked for me. Back when I was at my heaviest, 110 kilos, 240 pounds, life was shit. I would get out of breath going up the stairs, I'd have zero self-confidence, zero motivation, and I just knew I was wasting my potential and I was capable of so much more. And it completely changed my life. I left my old life back in the UK to move out to Asia between Thailand and Bali, and now I'm in a position to help others do a similar transformation to me. So if that is you and you want a bit of extra guidance, then drop me a message on WhatsApp, first link in the description. Before I jump into the 8 steps that allow me to complete this transformation, there was one mindset shift that helped me do all of it, and that was dropping my ego. Back when I was at my heaviest, I thought I knew so much about training, nutrition, and mindset, things I picked up from YouTube and the internet. One day I got real with myself and realized that I was clearly missing something. So that led me on a search to find others that had the outcome that I wanted, so that I could learn from them to speed up the journey. So dropping my ego and reaching out to others that had the physique and mindset that I wanted allowed me to do this transformation a lot faster than it otherwise would have took if I'd have done it myself with trial and error and lots of years of guessing and second guessing myself. So that leads me to step number 1, which was hiring a world-class mindset coach. And that really opened my eyes to the fact that I was going about weight loss completely wrong. I was trying to do the actions, do the meal plan and force the training, instead of planning out the man that I was trying to become and then working backwards from that. Once I had a clear picture of the man I was trying to become and the actions that this guy would take daily, and his thoughts, beliefs, habits, and his reactions to situations, that really let me have a North Star to work towards. And it gave me clear daily actions that I would need to take to reach this person and actions that I had to avoid. So the bad habits that were keeping me stuck. So that was a major building block in starting to build the identity of the person that I was going to become. Step number 2, my mindset coach opened my eyes to how I was self-sabotaging my weight loss in the past. For so long, I would be able to do 2-3 weeks on a plan, but then I'd just fall off. I would have self-doubt from the years of breaking self-trust for myself and having no accountability, and just years of having the belief that I couldn't do stuff. I'd also have negative beliefs, things like I'm just always going to be a fat person, I'm no good at sticking to meal plans, I just can't avoid cravings. I also had some anxiety around this process as well, so had anxiety going to the gym, so we worked on that. Had anxiety on the person that I would need to become and moving into that. That was a big shift for me. And also perfectionism, so I would also in the past go for a week or 2 on a meal plan, but then if I missed a meal or if I didn't hit the gym one day, I'd completely write off a week, and then I would have negative self-talk behind that as well. So working on all of that was a very big foundation to the rest of the steps that we're going into now. Number 3 was reaching out to my physique coach. So with my physique coach, he gave me a really clear roadmap plan on how we were going to do this transformation with the physique, which was something I never had before. Previously, I would always just get plans from the internet, from ChatGPT, but I never had 100% belief in that plan, and worse still, I never really had someone to hold me to those actions, hold me to that plan. So I would always just go off vibes, go off how I felt, instead of following the plan, making sure I hit the deadlines, making sure that I didn't let my coach down and get that plan done. Having that plan allowed me to see the daily non-negotiables that would need to be done every day to be able to meet that plan. And that completely removed the guesswork, because as long as I completed those daily actions every single day, then it's just the laws of physics that I was going to reach my goal. Okay, step number 4, I got really honest about my situation and really raised my awareness around my habits and my routines that were keeping me in a stuck position. So back when I was fat, I used to make so many excuses. I don't have time for the gym, I don't have time to cook or meal prep, don't have time to walk, and I'm tired. All of these excuses were just keeping me stuck, as well as my other habits, like having junk food in my environment. So I did this one thing, and if you're all in a similar position to what I was, I recommend you do it too. And basically just taking an audit of all of those habits that you have throughout the day in your morning and PM routines, and seeing which habits are going to keep you stuck and which habits are going to help you grow. From there, you can reinforce the positive habits and find ways to add friction to the negative habits. For example, for me, I would scroll in bed on TikTok and Instagram for hours and hours and then complain about not having time to go to the gym. But this process really helped me see that I did have that hour to go to the gym. So instead of just scrolling in bed, I can scroll on a treadmill in the gym. So now I'm replacing a bad habit that's going to keep me stuck with a good habit that's going to help me move forward. So once I'd audited my habits, it was time to build a new daily flow. So something my coach told me is you have 2 anchors in the day. You have the AM routine and you have the PM routine. And as long as you win those, you've done 90% of the work already. I started looking at my routines. I started looking at my sleep quality. I started journaling. I started doing visualization in the mornings. I started doing mindset work in the mornings. And if you want the full daily flow that I installed, just DM me on Instagram saying flow and I'll send it straight over. And especially with things like journaling, just really helped me improve my frequency and just kept me on track, kept me really focused on the things that actually mattered and were going to actually move the needle forward for me. Number 6, I fixed my nutrition. So I'd tried all diets before, so super low cal, low carbs, high protein, and over restricting as well. But working with my coach, we were able to find a really good balance on food. So I have enough food to be able to have enough energy throughout the day and to be able to train. But I was also still burning more than I was eating. So I was losing body fat. So eating the foods that are going to optimize for killing cravings, but also, fueling growth inside the gym. And we did this by having a high protein diet and also high volumes. And if you want a free guide on how to optimize to kill cravings in your diet phase, then just drop me a message on Instagram and I'll send it straight over. For so long with nutrition, I thought I'd have to be hungry all the time or starving to be able to lose body fat, but it's just simply not the case. Working with my coach, we were really able to optimize for killing cravings, and we did this by using a high protein diet and also high volume. So eating the right amount of the right foods that were going to keep me full. And I was still able to go out for the odd meal, still able to have the odd beer as well. So I never really felt over restricted, and that led me to be able to diet for a really long amount of time. Where I went wrong a lot of times before was over restricting down to like 1,000 calories, just stupidly low, like crashing my metabolism, crashing everything, and just having my cravings just right at the roof. But doing it this way and making sure that I was obviously burning more than the amount of food I was eating, it allowed me to be able to diet with relative ease. So back when I was fat, I tried 2 approaches really to dropping the body fat, which just didn't work. I tried just doing strictly cardio, so riding my bike every day, doing like hours of cardio every day, and just led me to feeling like depleted, and I just hated it really, to be honest. It wasn't fun. So working with my coach, we were really able to dial in my training. So I got on a training split, upper lower, and more important than split, I really changed my mentality around the gym. So I started tracking my weights, and I started to really focus on progressive overload, and I really started to focus on getting stronger every single week and beating last week's numbers. That's what really allowed me to force my muscles to grow, even while I was dieted down. So I didn't look like a skinnier version of myself once I'd finished the cut. And this process allowed me to fall in love with the gym. I used to really hate the gym, man. Ever since my days in school, going to gym, doing PE class, I was one of those kids that just never really liked that type of shit. But doing this process and tracking and seeing my lifts go up like every single week, just really gave me a sense of achievement and really made it so much more fun because I was actually seeing the progress in real time, And number 8, the last step, I really built the skill of consistency and motivating myself. Previously, I'd never been consistent on a plan for more than 2 or 3 weeks. So it's no wonder I never really saw the results. So you might relate to this. I was able to stay consistent on a diet for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but then maybe the scale wouldn't go down as fast as I was expecting, and then that would just completely demotivate me and throw me off course. So realizing that the problem wasn't the process, it was the fact that I wasn't staying consistent at the process. Once I started to stay consistent for 4 weeks and started to see that first bit of progress, that's when I really started to get hooked. And then from there, at 8 to 12 weeks, people were starting to notice, and then from there, the rest is history. Also around motivation, I learned how to motivate myself. From doing the identity work that I spoke about earlier, I started to fall in love with the process and the tasks that were going to get me closer towards my goal, because I saw that as killing the old version of myself. Each time I went to the gym, each time I stayed on track with my macros, each time I did my steps, So the things that were previously didn't like or I found boring started to become enjoyable. And also seeing the benefits of getting lean really lit my motivation on fire. Back when I was fat, I never really even could imagine what it was like to be lean. So it was like I couldn't even imagine the benefits. The amount of confidence I have now and the amount of opportunities I've got from getting lean is just priceless. And I couldn't imagine it at the beginning, but now I've seen the benefits of working on your mind, working on your body, working on your physique, and always growing. It's like I can't stop. I need that next hit, And now I'm imagining myself 1 year from now, 2 years from now, and then trying to move into that version of myself. And yeah, man, those were the 8 steps that helped me go on this transformation. And those are the 8 steps I bring my clients through too. So if you're someone that wants to get out of your own way and you're ready to move into the next version of yourself, then drop me a message on WhatsApp or fill in the application link below and we'll get to work. Let's go.